Welcome to C-Suite Strategies, the podcast that takes you inside the minds of top executives across diverse industries. I'm your host, Stacey Sussman, Chief Revenue Officer at RevUp Advisory, and I'm here to uncover the strategies, insights, and hidden wisdom that drive success at the highest levels of business. Each episode will dive into a specific topic crucial to scaling a business, exploring the unique challenges and opportunities that shape growth and success. From innovative revenue models to marketing to cutting-edge leadership techniques, we leave no stone unturned. Whether you're a seasoned C-suite executive or a hungry founder seeking more knowledge, this podcast is your backstage pass to the strategies that separate good companies from great ones. Prepare to challenge your assumptions, expand your horizons, and walk away from each episode with actionable insights that can transform your approach to business. Follow now, C-Suite Strategies, and join us as we uncover the secrets to sustainable business growth, one powerful conversation at a time. Your next big breakthrough might just be a listen away. Hi, listeners. Super excited to have you on C-Suite Strategies today. We have an extra special guest, and she is the business coach that we use at RevUp Advisory, and she is an incredible asset to our business, and so we wanted to have her on today. So the episode we're talking about is one of our favorites, Scaling Smarter with Celi Arias, and her method is the grown-ass business method, the GAB, we like to call it in our community. I have been working with Celi for probably almost 2 years at this point, and she has helped RevUp Advisory grow in leaps and bounds. And so I don't want to keep her a secret anymore, and I want everyone to know about her. So welcome, Celi. Please give our folks a little hello.
Hello. Thank you. That's such a nice thing to say. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
So Celi and I were introduced by another professional friend a while back. I took one of her cohorts that was kind of, what do you call it now, Celi? The GAB Accelerator? Is that what it's called now? And
yeah,
Celi's the person that you want in your life, but you don't actually know that you need her in your life.
Yeah.
And so here she is, and basically she's stuck with us at RevUp Advisory for a long time now. And so she has a method to scaling that works. I promise you, I can share you that I know it does work. And I want Celi to introduce herself, share her background, talk about a little bit about what she does, and then kind of dial into a conversation about scaling, which is our favorite topic, and we nerd out about all the time.
That's true. We do. How's that for a sales pitch? I'm the person you need that you didn't know you needed and you probably don't know exists. I'm crushing it. Crushing life over here. So I always seriously joke that I've been in business for over 25 years, but it's true. And you've heard all my stories, and I always say Granny Celi will repeat herself often. But I started my first business when I was about 10 years old because I was an immigrant, at that time a child to a single mom, and I really wanted to take ballet, and I didn't even bother to really ask. I just knew I needed to make my own money and do it my own way. And I did, and I built a business. I didn't do like little odd jobs. I built a little business. I was an avid reader as a kid. I read all the Babysitters Club books, and I was like, this is stupid, and I can do this. And I built a babysitting business that I ran from the age of 10 to 18, which is insane when you think about it. But it did teach me that I could make money and pay for my own things. I went and signed up to my first ballet summer camp. I rode my little bicycle and signed myself up without an adult there. And then, of course, they were like, can we call your mom and make sure this is okay? I actually bought my first car, my first junker, when I was 16. And I think that created something in me that was like, you can create reality. You can make things happen. When I see the world and I see things that don't work, my husband says he hates going through TSA with me because he is always afraid that
You're going to tell them the inefficiency.
Because I do. I'm like, this is very inefficient. And you know that you could just say this like this and this and this. And by the way, sir, you did not need to be rude about that. I know I had to take my shoes off. Like, inefficiencies drive me crazy. And that's how I was as a kid. And so I have been in business for over 25 years. Hopefully, I will never be taken to a back room in the TSA. Literally, my husband like puts his hand on my mouth and he's just like, don't mind her. She's an ops person.
Can't wait to travel with you.
Do not travel with me. I'm obnoxious. I'm like really, really not that obnoxious, but I am obnoxious when I'm out in the world and I find inefficiencies. I just lose it a little bit.
Which is why you started this company.
Yeah, exactly. I just find inefficiencies in other people's businesses and go, ooh, yay, let's fix that. So I have actually been a startup founder. I have been a director of marketing. I've been a director of sales. I've been a director of ops. I've done corporate sales, founded a company in my early 20s, which was a fashion line, and ran that for 9 years, then got an MBA, and then got jobs in startups and corporate. So I always say that the grown-ass business comes from a lifetime of having sat in the different seats of different roles at different companies of different sizes. And when you've gotten to sit in different seats, the cool thing is you start realizing, oh, we have to look at this from all the seats. We can't keep coming at a problem from our zone of genius or from our perspective, unfortunately, because a business is an ecosystem. And if we keep approaching it, and I think a lot of people preach like stay in your zone of genius. Yes, and a business in itself is a world. And we need to look at it as its own world. And so really grown-ass business was built from a lifetime in business. And also I was a head coach at a coaching firm for a while. And I saw things there that I didn't have the power to address. And so I left that company to address those things. And I created my own methodology that I feel is more holistic and really does help businesses grow and then scale.
And isn't it funny when you have all these experiences and you're like, let me take the best of this and let me fix the worst of that. And then you kind of like mesh it all together into this tornado. And you're like, and now we have the grown-ups business method because I've seen all the efficiencies and sort of inefficiencies in other organizations. And now I can really help people. What I love about the grown-ass business is I'll say we talk about the woo and the do. Today. We may talk about either. But not only are you expanding and growing professionally, you expand and grow personally, but Celi is not afraid to tell you what you need to get done, what you need to do, and you can't be afraid to put in the work. And I'll just speak for myself. Celi and I have lots of strategy sessions. We go and talk through the strategy of what we need, and I lean on her for expertise just because we at Rev Up Advisory do it for other businesses. It's always hard to do it for yourself at the end of the day because it's hard to look in. It's easier almost to look out, I think.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so you can have the best strategy and you can talk with a business coach about we should do this and we should do that and here's what the steps would be. But the next level to that and why I think we've been successful at Rev Up Advisory is we actually go out and do the strategy. And I think that becomes a miss for a lot of people. They're looking for a coach to sugarcoat things. They're looking for a coach that may not be an expert in the area that you need them to be an expert in. The coach may steer them in the wrong direction. There's so many factors, but you got to have the strategy and then you actually have to go do the strategy. And then I'll add my other pieces like evaluate, which I'll always like voxering to Celi is like, do you think this works? Is this the right thing? What about doing this? Or think I take what we discuss and then I add my own spin to it.
Yeah, of course. In the world of coaching and consulting, the ideal client is the client who takes what you gave them and actually goes and does it. Sometimes people and businesses, and even big businesses do this, they like to throw money at a problem.
Oh, yes.
And then what they do is they tick that box off in their head and they're like, oh yeah, we're fixing that because we hired these consultants to come in and fix it. Done. Hands clean. I'm not changing. I'm not evolving or transforming. I threw money at the problem. You're the ideal client because you show up and you go, okay, oh, she's making me do that. She's making me change this. And you go and do it, which I always say busy moms are always my favorite clients because they just don't have time to question you and doubt and double back and then go to another coach and ask another coach their opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's not about opinions and ideas. It's, did you execute on the plan and read the metrics and learn from the data and pivot where needed?
Sounds simple.
Sounds simple, but hard to do in practice. And I understand that, which is why in the Grown Nest business, it's a very tactical and strategic program, but then we combine the mindset. Because all of those times that we're tempted to go, I don't believe her, or let me go ask somebody else. Let me go ask my friend who's doing really well, or let me go ask my other coach, or let me go ask my colleague who's a coach. That temptation to go somewhere else and double back and doubt, that has more to do with your mindset and your state of mind and your belief system and where your internal operating system, basically, than whether the strategy is going to work or not.
Yes.
So that's why we combine both.
Yes. And I feel like I've always was the kid that, lucky for me, I didn't always care what other people think. I kind of was just confident that my decision was a good decision, whether I made great decisions or not so great decisions. I felt that conviction to be like, this is a good idea. But I do agree the people that I'll say waver and then honestly, I think get paralyzed by inaction at the end of the day because they're just not so sure that this is the right strategy. And then they go ask everyone from the person at the grocery store to the other business coach. And that's where they get paralyzed and the business either stays stagnant or might decline, honestly, if you just don't do anything about it.
Absolutely. Ultimately, business happens. Business exists within the action taking. Your business doesn't exist in the theory, in the idea, in the conception phase. Your business exists and starts to happen in the action. So we have to make moves and take action.
100%. And now, a word from our sponsor, RevUp Advisory. At RevUp Advisory, we're passionate about transforming businesses. Most B2B companies struggle with scaling, but with us, you're guaranteed to maximize your marketing and sales growth because it's literally all we do every day. We know you've already accomplished some amazing things, but we also know what got you here won't get you to where you want to go. When the messy middle of scaling feels overwhelming, we dive in, we clean it up, and we create true business transformation. Our job is to handle the nitty-gritty details that get you there, allowing you to focus on the bigger picture. Led by Stacey Sussman, with over 25 years of expertise in sales, marketing, and operations, our team of business strategists and technical wizards are ready to carve the right growth path forward for your company. Ready to rev up your business? Contact Stacey Sussman at RevUp Advisory today. Talk to us about, because we're talking strategy and we're saying now we have a strategy and we're going to take action and then we're going to iterate on that action to see, is it success? Do we have to pivot? But take us a step back and just talk through, because I think you have some great methodology here of how you'd even, if a new client came to you and wanted to work with you, whether it's the GAB and there's different packs and you can talk through that. But what have you developed to be I'm going to point out to you what areas of the business need, help and what areas are strong? Because you do this really well and you kind of give us a download when we're working with you, but tell our listeners what that looks like.
Yeah, I think that what's interesting about the GAB, and I was very intentional in when I created it, was for me, I think there's a lot of gatekeeping in business and business consulting and in business coaching. So I have an MBA. I know the jargon. You'll rarely ever see me use it. And if I use jargon, I break it down into layman's terms. Because when I was in an MBA school, I hated that. I was like, so you mean this means this? And my teachers would get really annoyed with me. So I'm that kid who annoys the teacher. But the GAB method is actually meant for you to see the entire playing field all at once. Because what typically happens in business is that we kind of plug away at the one thing that's in front of us right now, whether it's I'm improving my product or, oh gosh, my pricing strategy is off and isn't profitable. I'll fix that one thing. Or, oh, now I need to obsess about marketing because everybody talks about marketing and like that's the only thing that exists in business. So I need to fix my marketing. Oh, I need to fix my sales process. So we look at business really as like the thing that's immediately in front of us. And a lot of coaches work that way as well, where they're like, okay, sure, no problem. I'll help you address that thing that's immediately in front of you. But it's like we're approaching a whole world with blinders on, looking at one little tunnel at a time. So the grown-ass business, what it does is kind of turn the light on and blow everything open and go, hey, there's like 5 departments running at the same time. We need to be able to look at the full playing field. We need to understand how they function together, how they relate to each other, how they impact each other. And then when we look at that, you yourself no longer need me to tell you where you are weak. You'll go, oh crap, I've been obsessing about marketing, but I don't have a profitable pricing strategy. Or I've been trying to do everything myself, but I really don't have any operations, systems, processes, SOPs documented, or a team that knows how to leverage those things. So what I do in the grown-ass business is we really look at the key growth mechanics, the key growth systems of your business, but we look at them all at once. And I know that sounds overwhelming. We do it in this like step-by-step phase, but the ultimate goal, the reason I built it this way was because I was annoyed at how coaching businesses and coaches approach coaching. I'm annoyed that we like drip feed to our clients what they need right now. I was like, I want to create like a board game where you see the whole world. And once you see the whole world, you actually can see, oh, here's where I'm at on the board. It's like trying to play Monopoly or the game of life, but not seeing the whole board, just knowing that I just landed on part place. What do I do right here, right now? Well, there's other players involved. There's other real estate involved. There's strategy, right? So that's how the methodology is created, is that inside our control center, you're looking at your whole business all at once, and you become very aware where your weak points are. And we create systems and strategies to start to address the weak points. That's one. And then there's 5 key growth systems, and then there's the 6th key growth system, which is you, your mindset, your baggage, your beliefs, your stuff that you bring, and your baggage and your beliefs and your experiences and everything that you bring to the table actually affects and impacts all of those other 5 key business growth departments. And that to me is like the whole playing field. So I have a lot of fun, and I think the reason we have so much fun together in the community, and I think the reason that people stay, I don't lock people into long contracts either, and people just stay by choice. I'm always like, cool, thanks, great. I think it's because it's like there's no secret, there's no drip feeding information, there's no gatekeeping. It's just like, oh, we're playing this game now. This is cool. This is fun. And it's like I've given you all the secrets, and now we just get to play together, and we just get to really grow with one another. I created that based off of my own frustration of being a head coach at a company and going, I don't feel good about, honestly, how we're serving our clients.
Right. We're not moving the needle the way we should.
Yeah. Or we're like, oh, you're having this problem. Here you go. You need this tool now. It's very much I'm the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, and you don't know all the tools I have back here, so that when you come to me with a specific problem, I can go, oh, here you go. Boop.
Right.
And it's like, I just like a world where we pull back the curtain and go, here are all the tools, here are all the possibilities. And I want to empower you as the business owner to be able to go, cool, she has 60 tools back there. I don't need 58 of them right now. I now know where I'm at, what I'm working on, what I'm doing for this quarter or this year even. And I actually know I need to focus in on this one tool. But you know the whole menu exists. Like my goal is to empower you to become your own thinker.
And I'll just give like a real life example to bring that to life. I'll say us at Rev Up Advisory, we had done LinkedIn Lives for about a year. And I had talked with Celi because she knows a lot about podcasting. And I was like, I think that I want to change the format because I kept getting feedback from people that they missed the live because I would do it around 12:30 Eastern time lunch. And people wanted to hear about the topic, but they missed the live. And come on, people, we know a lot of people don't go back to the webinars or whatever they listen to and listen to the recording. So we kind of were brainstorming, and I was like, what about a podcast format? And I think that's how C-Suite Strategies came about at the end of the day, because I was comfortable with the live. I was comfortable in the host seat. I got good feedback. I had really interesting guests, but how did we kind of branch that out into a different medium, a different format to make more of an impact? And now we have a real good plan for 2025 about the podcast. But I just want to give a real life example of how a strategy could come about. And I will say, I think this is part of like a larger go-to-market strategy that we're doing with RevUp Advisory. But having someone like Celi to be sort of the brains behind, actually have a real life person that I can bounce these ideas off of, who knows me intimately. At this point, I talk to you every single day, multiple times a day about the business.
I do know my clients really well. It's kind of breedy.
And the key part, I think, is you become like a really trusted ally. I don't question really anything you say to me at this point. And I personally, I'll speak for myself in the GAB, I'm not afraid to get like the harsh, tough feedback from Celi too, because she gives the compliments, but then she's also like, but you didn't go do this thing over here. And we talked about that 3 months ago. So like, where are you?
Yeah. So Stacey is referencing my advanced program, and that's called the GAB CEO. And I cap it at 15 people at a time because
we want your attention all the time.
You want my attention all the time. Each of you have private access to me. I consider myself like the COO of your business in a way. Like if you come to me with this question of like, what do we do with this now? I really do. Let me go think about it. And I take that on as if I were the COO of your business, what would I do with that? So, and I've had other people go, should I start a podcast as my leg neck? And I'm like, nope, that's not your strategy. You hear me say this all the time, which is why we laugh about it. Because, you know, what often happens, and this happens in all communities and all programs. So listen up. And if you are a lone wolf business listening, listen up. You'll be sitting at a dinner table or you'll be in a networking community because we don't like being lonely business owners. And you'll hear somebody say something really brilliant. And your brain will go, oh, maybe I should do that. That's working for her. I should do that. Absolutely not. Put that down. Stop it.
Slap on the wrist.
No. And the reason is because I know this is like obvious, but it seems like we forget this. Not every strategy and every tactic is for you. And Stacey has a podcast. I have a YouTube show. Am I going to turn my YouTube show into a podcast? Absolutely not. It's not the right strategy for me. We talked about the other day about how someone else in the community, we made a very untraditional lead gen strategy for her, which is going to specific events and doing a specific thing at these events. I came up with that strategy for her. It's working gangbusters for her. I would never do it for myself because I'm a wallflower at events. I'm actually really nerdy and an introvert. People don't believe that. But like if I'm in a room full of people, I slowly start finding myself in the corner on my phone, acting busy. So the strategy that works for her isn't for me. And I think that's the value of having somebody in your corner who understands strategy and isn't trying to sell you their cookie cutter process or strategy. Like if you come to me and go, what do I do with this? I go, okay, yeah, let's think about your next level strategy. Let me think about it. Let me think about the podcast. Would it make sense? How would we do it? How would we do it right? I even actually recommended the production team that you use.
Correct.
Right? Because I was like, you don't have the time. I know I have podcasting clients. You don't have the time to do all the things that it actually takes to have and so I think you're the only person in GAB CEO right now that has a podcast as a part of their marketing strategy. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And now we're looking at, okay, you started it. It's doing great. Your content's great. Your communication of it is great. And now we already have the 2.0 plan, which we're not going to share publicly because it's your secret go-to-market plan. And that also is fun for me. I would be bored to tears if I was giving people like cookie cutter, oh, now you just do this and you just go in the DMs and you use ManyChat to talk to people on your behalf, or you use cold outreach on LinkedIn. Good luck. Like, no, that's boring.
Yeah.
I'm really interested always in like, what's new, what's working. I was on a presentation last week put together by my mentor. And he was a very, very, very well-known person that came and gave a presentation. And after the fact, the leader of this particular group asked us, what did you guys think? I intentionally let you guys experience the sales process of this very, very famous person because I wanted you to have the experience and I'd love to know what you thought. And I said, I was really bored and disappointed in the fact that this person gave such a really compelling, interesting, great presentation. But then at the end of it, you just get put through his funnel and it's just more of the same, where you're being texted by one of his sales guys and they're reading a script at you and you know it's a script. And I was like, ho hum, I was really bored. And everybody in the group kind of agreed and had a variation of that experience. But it made me think as a coach and as a strategist, what a great opportunity. What if we were all showing up in sales really differently? So it makes me kind of go back to my clients and go, ooh, okay, we're not going to do the DM thing and the like texting. We're not going to do the scripting thing. How do we talk about sales now differently? Because guess what? Smart people can recognize the script. Smart people can intuitively feel they're being sold to and it doesn't feel good. So my brain's already like, ooh, okay. How can I help my clients make their sales experience feel like butter and like the person on the other side doesn't know they're even in a sales experience?
What I love about working with you is, one, I think this idea, and you alluded to it with the podcast team, is I'll call them like practitioners, where you bring in. Celi reads a lot. She reads a ton of books, you guys, and she has a lot of experience, and she has the MBA and. But what I love about the community is the curation of practitioners. You have a wide network of them. And I think because you're in a coaching network too, people do a lot of different things, whether they fall under the coaching umbrella, they slice and dice it in different ways. And so not only do we have this community aspect and access to Celi, but I feel like you get guest experts that come into the community weekly, monthly, etc. And they really opened my eyes to different facets of the business. Some I've then gone on to hire. Some I was just like, oh, that was an interesting conversation. Close your ears. But some I've said, I don't know if I thought that was helpful because it just didn't land with me.
Yeah.
But I personally don't have the time to curate all of those practitioners or one-on-one reach out to all those practitioners. And so I almost feel like you put it in this nice bow container within the GAB community. And I probably show up to almost all of them, I would say, unless I can't. And it's like, oh, that was interesting. Everyone I learned something from. And so you get better, smarter, faster, I think, because you're in this container where you're constantly bombarded in a good way with new information. And I find that to help us grow Revit Advisory in like leaps and bounds, because sometimes it would have taken us years or months to come up with even what that person was offering or doing.
Yeah, I think that it goes without saying. I'd never really say it, but I hope it's an obvious. Again, my whole goal with Grown Ass Business, the reason it's even named that is because I really, really do believe at the core that I'm building business owners. And to me, we talk about this a lot internally, but what I'll say is a great leader and business owner really needs like two skills. And one of the hardest ones to cultivate is discernment. And so what I try to do is create an environment where you're constantly being challenged to discern, was that for me or was that not for me? Like that's one of our core themes really is I'm hoping I'm teaching you guys to discern. Just because I brought somebody to do a presentation on business astrology, some people might go, rah, whatever. Great. Use your discernment. That's the whole point. the two skills that I think are underrated and CEOs need is the power of discernment. And this is probably, I think they're equally hard. But then the other one is really knowing what is the problem to solve right now. Because there's probably right now, there's 10 things on my plate that I could fix and solve and do. But a lot of times we spend money and time on the wrong problem.
Oh, yes. Or being just focused on the wrong thing, I think, too.
We're often focused on the wrong thing. And then we might feel super accomplished if we fix that thing. And then we go,
there's no revenue.
Yeah. Why didn't my revenue change? Why doesn't my business feel fixed? Because we didn't take the time to go, wait, of these 10 things, and we talk about this a lot, which one is the domino? Which one of these, if I really solve this problem, it will create the domino effect and kind of knock out some of those other things. We don't take the time to do that. So discernment and am I actually solving the right problem right now is one of the hardest things. And so that's even why I bring guest experts in. Some of them I know really well and I know they're going to be solid. And some of them I know through someone or know through a network. And I'm like, this is going to be a wild card. Let's see. And then I let you guys decide for yourselves because you're adults and you're business owners. But I'm doing that right now, even in my own business. I'm doing something that's tedious and obnoxious, but I know it's a first domino. It's forced me to slow down in my content creation. It's forced me to slow down in the things I enjoy doing in my business. But it's that domino that I know in 2 or 3 months, by the time this episode comes out, I will feel the repercussions of having taken the time to fix this one thing.
Yeah. And the one big thing, I feel like it's the elephant in the room that we haven't talked about, and this is getting towards the end of our conversation, is what do you actually want your business to be at the end of the day? That is where we start. We were ending almost with this, but I think that was a big eye-opener. I'll say for Rev Up Advisors, we want it to be this multi-million-dollar business, and I want all these people and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, well, is that really what I want? And we have completely changed the model of Rev Up Advisory of what it was previous to me working with Celi and the team, and now what it is.
Yeah.
And you were like, do you want 7-figure business? Do you want 6-figure business? Do you want a holiday in Europe for the whole month of August? I think a big differentiator of what you do is, as the business owner, me, Stacy, what do you actually want the business to be? And then what does the business afford you the life that you want to be? And that's a real restart, really. We're talking far down the road. I'm about 2 years in, but it's what do you want the business to be? And that can change. And I know we talked about this week is what's the 10-year vision, which I always have a hard time with because I'm I don't know. In Rev Ops, I'm 10 years feels so far away. I'm always what are we talking in the next 6 to 12 to 18 months? But there's something really powerful to be said about figuring out what that is now and then reevaluating maybe what that looks like as half yearly, annually, etc.
Yeah. Well, we alluded to this earlier, but the challenge with business is that we get very myopic and we are fixing the thing right in front of us and then just taking the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step. And then we become workaholics, and most of us are workaholics and enjoy it. I definitely enjoy being a workaholic, and we just never look up. We're just on this trail, we're looking down, we're in the weeds, we're doing the things, and we might actually even be enjoying that. But we never look up and go, wait, where is this road taking me? And do I like where this road is taking me? Do I like the business that I might inadvertently be building? And so if we take a pause to just look up and go, wait, if I keep going down this road, it's going to build this kind of business. Do I even like that kind of business? I've had people, thinking, building some model that somebody else taught them. And it's hey, for that model to work, you're going to have a 10 to 15 person team. Do you want a 10 to 15 person team? And then people go, whoa. I have clients who are God, no, I don't. I love leading people. It's one of the hardest things to do, by the way. Team is the hardest thing in business, I think, because you're dealing with people and all their stuff. But I love leading teams. I love the chat. I used to be a COO, so I always built teams, hire teams, train teams, coach them up. I love people who want to grow and evolve. Those are my favorite people. I'm you got no skills, but you're hungry? You're in. Come work with me. You raise your hand. You're put me in. I'm hungry. I'm yes, I just hired somebody like that. She's but I have no online business skills. I'm I love you. Come on in. I'm going to coach you. But I love that. So I am building a business that will need a big team, but I love that. My husband, I've built his business as well. It's a 7-figure business. And he's like, hells no, don't make me manage more than 2 people. Not only does he not enjoy it, he will also drive them crazy because he doesn't enjoy it. He's a bad team leader. Amazing, talented, kind of a genius person, but also we all know working with 4 geniuses is not fun. So it's ironic, like here we are side by side building businesses. He's got a 2-person team and that's it. I'm very happy.
And it's skyrocketing.
And they're doing great. And I'm like on this road to building software, which will be, I can't even imagine how big that team will be eventually. So you got to look up on whatever path you're on, look up and go, ooh, do I even like the path I'm on and that I'm leading towards? I have had clients who had 12-person teams because some previous coach told them you have to hire. That's how you scale. And then when we did this kind of exercise of like, look up, they were like, oh my God, I hate the future in front of me. I hate this model. I am not a team leader. And then we built them a new business and removed the people. And that maybe sounds terrible, but it's now they're running a business that they enjoy running.
Yes, huge.
So yeah, look up.
Yeah. And I've seen it in the GAB. I feel like I've seen, because it's collaborative. It's not just me talking with Celi. There's other people in it. And I've seen people pivot and shift their models. And I think I have pivoted and shifted our model at RevUp Advisory. And we are all building businesses we want to enjoy and be part of and give us the life we want to, whatever that looks like, because it's different for everyone. And I think it's really interesting because if some coaches just fix the problem, right, at the end of the day without saying, but like, where are you going?
Yeah. And if we are really clear on where you're going, then this problem that looks like a big problem right now may not be the problem to fix.
So interesting.
We could geek out on this all day. I think that what's fun about GAB CEO too is you get to, at least from where I sit, and if you've been in there long, you're in your second round. So if you've been in there long enough, you see your colleagues in that space. You see them get happier and happier and happier in their businesses and in their life because you've been in there long enough now to see people's growth. And like that is the most fun for me, is to have somebody who comes in super stressed out and kind of angsty and in a battle with their business and then start to kind of like relax and laugh and have fun. And that's really fun too, because if you start building the business model that's right for you and your life, the truth is you can be in happy relationship with your business and you can even scale that business.
All right. With that, we are going to conclude today's episode. I hope we give you guys tons of nuggets to think about. Celi, if they wanted to get in touch with you or get involved in one of your programs, what's the best way to connect with you?
I run all my social media channels. So if you just look me up on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube, it is Celi, Celi, Grows Business. You can DM me or we can talk about it. Or the website is very easy to remember. It's grownassbusiness.com.
And we will link to the show notes with all of that. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today. I hope this was insightful for everyone. I love speaking with you, so appreciate your time. And we will see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. As we wrap up this episode of C-Suite Strategies, I want to express my sincere gratitude to you, our listeners, for tuning in and engaging with our podcast. Your commitment to business growth and operational excellence is what drives this podcast forward. A special thank you to our guests today for sharing their valuable business insights and experience. Your wisdom is a gift to our audience, and we're honored to have had you on our show today. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd be thrilled if you follow and subscribe to the podcast. Your help supports us to reach more ambitious business leaders just like you. And if you didn't enjoy it, well, I guess I'll see you never. This is your host, Stacey Sussman, Chief Revenue Officer at RevUp Advisory, signing off.